We're on to Psycho 4, the beginning and the end of the Psycho franchise, released in 1990. This one has more horror pedigree, again being directed by Mick Garris, a man who's synonymous with horror in one way or another, who's done some great things throughout the years, and we have Norman Bates back once more, and a little bit of a different idea of expanding the story of Norman Bates. He's phoning in a talk show host who is talking about matricide. Norman goes on pretending to be Ed, someone else. He's living in a suburban home of some sort, and he starts to begin to tell his tale. And in doing so, we get flashbacks with Henry Thomas playing Norman Bates, and we get the wonderful Olivia Hussey as Norma Bates, which is just utterly fantastic.
You're gonna forget once and for all about that filthy thing of yours!
She's a revelation in the film and someone that I really enjoy in general. And you have these two vying stories, I guess, of similar characters. We get the backstory of Norman Bates, how he built up his relationship with his mum and the ultimate her demise. And then we also have the story of Norman phoning in. There's a threat at the start of this that he has killed and he will kill again.
Oh, I've killed before. And now I'm going to have to do it again.
So we follow Norman as he's recounting his story, ultimately getting to the point of who he's going to kill and why he's going to kill before we get to the big finale. The thing about Psycho 4, the beginning, is it's decent, but we're starting to fall into the tropes of sequels where they're becoming less rewarding than the previous one. And again, this is probably the least enjoyable of all of the Psycho films. By no means is it a bad movie. It's just rather pedestrian and familiar, and it feels as though it's playing in a rather familiar sandbox which we've fully explored. In fact, by going into the prequels and giving us more of the history of Norman, it's kind of robbing us of that, the idea that we've constructed ourselves in our head about what makes him so twisted. By kind of pointing to the facts, it doesn't allow us to have that warped imagination that we have of Norman's past, and it becomes almost mundane, cookie cutter and typical of what you would expect, where I'm kind of hoping that there was something more twisted in his backstory. When you get the kills that are happening here, they're almost like vignettes. They just seem non sequiturs. It'll pop up with a story of going, I don't know how I ended up in the backseat of the car of this woman, but hey ho, flashback, jump into murder sequence, get rid of the body, never to be mentioned again. No police investigation, nothing really to relate to that again. And the movie does that several times. There seems to be an almost lack of connectivity throughout it, although it has the grand story, which does tie back and forth. There are these small elements that are just thrown in to get the blood count up, to get some of the more typical tropey things that we want in a horror movie into this one, and it feels a little bit just manufactured, manipulated, forced onto us.
I don't remember how I wound up in her car at 2 a.m.
Psycho 4, the beginning, is fairly decent. As a finale for the film, it gives us both a beginning and an end to the series as a whole, which I kind of like. I think the performances are fairly decent. This is something that Anthony Perkins can do in his sleep, and it seems as if he's trying to prove that point throughout the film. Olivia Hussey's just absolutely wonderful in this one, as a great standout. And yeah, Psycho 4 is fine, but it kind of run its course at this point. They made the wise decision to do no more after this, which I think was sensible. So yeah, let's jump into the disc, have a little look at the extras that are in this one. Let's go to the special features. See, we've got an audio commentary here by Mick Garris, Henry Thomas and Olivia Hussey. We have Death by Strings, which I think might be my favourite extra on any of the Psycho discs here. We've got a new visual essay by film critic and author Guy Adams about the scores of the Psycho franchise, and he kind of goes through the way the music changes throughout the films, how it highlights certain sequences, how it is deceptively great. I absolutely adored this extra. Tremendous. It's 18 minutes and 6 seconds in length. The Making of Mother is an archival interview with the special makeup effects artist Tony Gardner. This is 27 minutes, 41 seconds. He talks about getting the job with Mick Garris, working with him in several other films, and focuses a lot on the creation of Mother, an effect within the film, which is pretty great. Then we have Behind the Scenes, which is 13 minutes 14. It's kind of almost camcorder-ish type of footage behind the sequences that they're making the movie. No real structure to it, just various scenes, which is interesting enough. We've got the scoring of Psycho 4, which is 6 minutes 11. Again, it's a kind of behind the scenes, just handheld footage of them creating music, recording it, which is a nice kind of addition. Then we have the trailers. Now this is the trailer for all of the films, the remake and the TV show. It's a nice inclusion. So an added bonus disc within this set, which houses Psycho 4 the beginning and the TV aspect ratio, which has the same commentary that's on the other disc. It's an interesting addition. I don't know if it's something I'll ever go to, maybe out of a little bit of curiosity later on, but I kind of like the widescreen edition of this. And that rounds out the extras for Psycho 4. So there we have it. Psycho 4 rounds out the Psycho box set. It's a terrific set. Great extras. 4 movies that range from masterpiece to good. What more could you ask for? It's a terrific set. Great extras. And I would love to know your thoughts on Psycho 4 the beginning. Did you love it? Hate it? Fell somewhere in the middle? Let me know in the comment box below your thoughts on this film. I can't wait to read your thoughts on Psycho as a whole and this package when you get your hands on it. It'll be terrific. There is more content up here where you can see more of my stuff if you're interested. And in the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program and manvfilm.com, all ways in which you can support me. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.